Welcome, listeners, to Crossing Borders, a podcast that is not about immigration. I am your host, Sid, also known as Whitney, and this is my wonderful co-host, Josh, also known as Mythic.
Hi there.
Grab your passports and join us for episode number 9, where we will be talking about ye old kingdoms of Indonesia. But let's first catch up with each other's weeks. So, Mythical Magician, aka Josh,
Yes,
the
Sid, what's
expert
up?
of all kingdoms.
Oh yeah, and that's
yeah.
me.
And that is definitely factual. What has been going on with you lately this week, or do you have a story to share with us today?
Well, my friend, I have a good story for you. But first,
good.
disclaimer. If you get queasy with blood, or guts, or cuts, or gore, it's best for you to skip to the timestamp that will be said in a different voice, because I don't know what the timestamp will be.
17 minutes and 30 seconds.
Anyway, my story is a traffic accident I got into. This is my first time in a traffic accident, so it is a very a daunting experience, a daunting and a life-threatening experience for me. I almost died. Yep, that's right. This happened 3 weeks ago. I wanted to tell the story 2 weeks ago when me and Squidney was going to do a recording, but there's some things happening in the background, so it's too late till now. But I can finally talk about it, and man, I can still remember it sort of vividly, but not really. I remember
it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. I went out of my house, riding my motorbike, as per usual. I was wearing my helm, and I was wearing shorts at the time, because it's a short distance, and I should be fine, Maybe I was too careless at the time, but I can't remember, to be honest. I came out to pay the water bills to the government. So close to my house, there's this government building where you would park your motorbike and queue up to pay your maintenance, safety, and water bills. So I went there, brought the money with me, paid. It all went well. There was the queue wasn't long as well, so that's nice. And I went home, and on the way back, I was in an intersection, and I was turning a right, and I don't know where this guy came from, but man, I was hit from the left. My leg was injured. I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember much of what happened. Like when the crash happened, I did not remember a thing. I just remembered my life flashing before my eyes, and falling to the concrete and asphalt. I think concrete. I know. I mean, it's asphalt. Asphalt. Yeah, that's the word. Whew, English. Asphalt, it was the rough type of asphalt, so it was painful to get dragged while being
ouchie.
I fell over, so the bike was on top of me, and since at the time it was sort of moving forward, so my leg scraped the sharp asphalt, and but I consider myself lucky, to be honest. Thank God. My head was fine. It was sort of weird because the only parts of my body that were injured are both of my legs. My hands were fine. There was nothing wrong with that. there's these small
weird
scratches and some part of skin that came off, but it's easy to heal, right? Yeah. Anyway, and my head and neck was fine, so that's good to know.
Thank goodness.
I actually did not see who are what crashed me. I don't know if it was a bike or a car, but I think it was a bike, judging from how fast they got away and how fast they got away, and also how minor the injuries were. Compared to other traffic accidents I've heard about. So I think it was a motorbike, because if it was a car, I think I would not be here recording this. So
probably not.
My injuries were pretty bad. But at the time of the crash, I think adrenaline kicked in, so I did not feel a single bit of pain. None. For some reason. My bike was a bit dented, but I think the bike's okay as well. I rode my bike back my motorbike back, and I can when I was on my way back, it was not too far from my house, but it was like a decent distance, I would say. And on my way back, I started feeling the pain, and I was like, oh no, like my legs starting to hurt. Like I didn't know, or like I didn't get to look properly at what the injury was. I just was thinking, okay, I gotta go back home because at in my house at least,
Yeah.
my grandma is being taken care of like with a professional person, right? Who knows what they're doing
Okay.
because
Yeah.
grandma's really old and we don't want anything to happen to her, so we need a professional to always stay at home, you know. And since they're
Understandable.
they're good with medicine, from what I've seen, so from my thoughts, like if I have a really bad injury, I think they're the best person to handle this. Like I personally myself, I would be
Oh,
too
yeah.
scared or like too scared to pain or injure myself while trying to heal or like put medicine on it. So
Yeah.
I went back, blowed the horn on the front of my gate, and then the professional person came out, and she brought me in and also helped me get off the motorbike and sat me
Yeah.
on the one of our like guest sofas. I remember the pain really started to kick in, and it was like super painful. My right leg, my right what's it called? Thigh was injured. Like there was a big
Yeah.
cut there. My left thigh
Ooh,
was also
ouchie.
got a big cut. My lower leg, left lower leg scraped the asphalt, and my right lower leg was like there's some scratches there, but I think that part healed quickly. And the worst
Okay.
part was the part of my so you know on your also at this when I'm looking on my left foot, there's like that bump right on before it hits your
Oh yeah, you're
yeah
the weird ankle bump.
yeah, the ankle bump. That bump
Yeah.
was hit pretty bad. I think it got hit by the motorbike. So
Ouch.
it was the wound was pretty deep and lots of blood was coming out.
Oh, fun.
My voice is kind of trembling talking about this, but a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
a big part of my leg was just covered in blood red. It was just pouring out.
Ooh.
My
Ouch.
yeah, I remember leaving taking off my sandals and leaving the motorbike. My sandals was just red. It was a blue sandal, but it was red. I was like full blood red.
Wow. That's
I was
actually
kind of
impressive.
yeah. I started to feel lightheaded a little bit there, but
Yeah, I would
and then
imagine.
well obviously, and then
That's a lot of blood.
the professional brought some alcohol, some benzene, some what we call here arak, and this medicine here,
Okay.
ooh, man, it will make any man scream, but it will heal you so fast. So I was like, use that one. Don't use this other medicine that's like less painful but longer heal time. If that makes sense. So like
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm it's okay. Like I'll tough the pain out. It's okay. And she was like, oh, all right, then we'll use this one. And we need to clean my leg because at the time, since I scraped the asphalt, bits and bobs of the asphalt are stuck to my leg and my injuries. So we need to clean that
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
alcohol. And you can already imagine how painful alcohol would be to touch
Ooh.
that. Ooh,
It's
dear.
like pouring
My
lemon
God.
juice on your eye after you put paper cuts on it.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Why would you say that? Oh, that make my eye itchy. Oh, dear. But yeah.
Yeah.
She. Oh man, I hated that feeling. But okay. To give a bit of context before this crash, me as a kid, I always would fall from my bike when I was learning how to ride a
Yeah.
bike, and even after I was able to ride a bike, I would do like these cool tricks that I thought was cool, and I would fall from them and then get my leg injured or something. I used to
Yeah.
have when I was counting it, anyways. What's it called? Wait, let me check real quick.
Nice.
Scabs. There you go. I will
Scabs,
have.
yes.
I used to have when I was a kid, elementary at least. I will have scabs all over my body from just like falling from a bike or something.
You were one of
Um,
those kids who always has scabs. Okay.
Yeah, I believe my biggest count was 99 scabs. I'm not joking. 99 scabs.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
99.
I'm serious. So all over my arm,
Dang.
both of my arms and both of my legs when I was elementary. So I was pretty like used to pain or like used to falling off a bike. But this was the whole different thing, right? It's like a high speed traffic accident. So it's a different one. But still, I was like used to being or like used to feeling pain and also having alcohol hit my injuries. But still, that pain that day, my gosh, that was like one swipe and like I remember I was screaming so hard. And since I was at the like a guest room, so that's like the outer part of the house, right? So I believe my neighbors could definitely hear that I was like screaming painfully for like at least an hour there from just like cleaning the asphalt from off my leg.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Big ouch. How are you doing now?
I'm okay, thank God. But back then, I remember cleaning off my lower leg part was the hardest thing I had to do in my life so far, anyway. Because it just feels like it's never ending. The dirt and the asphalt pieces were still in there. And thank goodness, like most of the injuries I had are more of a service level. Thank goodness there were none that were like my bone didn't fracture or anything. So like that's a miracle for me.
Oh, that's good.
Like the cuts on my thighs were still painful to like hit alcohol and the arak thing that I was talking about, but still a lot less painful than the lower leg that scraped the asphalt. That one, oh my gosh, that was hurt.
Yeah, that sounds really painful.
And
injuries would be so much easier if they didn't get dirty, because you have to clean them out, which is like the worst part.
That's what I was talking about. And I had to pause on the clean. I had to ask the professional to pause on the cleaning because my other part, the little bump on the ankle thing, it was like spewing blood nonstop. So because apparently the cut was pretty deep. I at the time did not look at how deep it was because I had took off my glasses from just like cringing from the pain. So I had taken off my glasses, and since I have a I'm minus. I can't look, so it was blurry for me at the time, so I don't know how deep the cut was, but it was pretty deep, and it was like pouring blood, like pretty quite a lot of blood. So we had to clean that one up first.
Okay.
But that one was also really painful. Not as painful as the scrape with the asphalt, but still very very painful compared to the other cuts that I had from the crash. And it's been 3 weeks now. From the first week when I finally could go back to work and study again, because from a week from the crash, I remember on the day of the crash, I was streaming. I was insane. I don't know what goes on in my mind there, but
I was gonna say, and then you live stream. Like he literally, we were waiting for his live stream, and he was late, obviously, because he got in a car accident, or a vehicle. It wasn't a car accident. It was a vehicle accident. But a few of us were waiting in the chat. We're like, where is he? Did he forget? I wonder. And then he's like, hey guys, I'm running late. I got into an accident. And we're like, bro, just cancel the stream. And he's like, no, it's fine. And then he streamed. Anyway,
I think at the time I just like felt bad for making you guys wait or something. But yeah, I think I should have prioritized my well-being from just like instead of streaming. I was insane.
Probably.
I don't know what went on in my head that time, but yeah, I'm fine now.
I mean, the stream might have distracted you from the pain a little bit.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't walk anyway, so I had nothing to do. I can't sleep
what
either.
Else were you gonna do?
Because like if you're sleeping, you would like be laying your legs, right? I can't do that. So like I had nothing to do anyway. I think that's why I stream and stuff. Because like I have nothing to do anyway. I can't do. I mean, it's painful. I mean, it's still hurting, but I can't do anything anyway. So might as well,
It's not like I'm gonna go for a jog,
Yeah, might as well. So, yeah, and then for the next week, I worked from home. I studied from home, for like an online class or something like that. And
Yeah.
then the week after, most of the injuries were already healed. Some were turning to scabs. The cuts were definitely the fastest ones
Okay.
to heal from. The scrape and the deep cut in the ankle bump are the ones that are very, very took a very long time to heal. Last week, my most parts of the scabs for the scrape finally came off. I kind of like scratched them to came off, but then I was like, it was getting to the stage where it's starting to heal and it's starting to get really itchy. You know that part of the healing process. Oh dear,
Oh yeah.
oh dear.
Where you
On the
just want to
early
pick at them.
yeah, on the early parts of the scab, I know I couldn't like scratch them because they were still like literally when I was walking, I had to limp because of how painful it is to walk. But
Yeah.
after a while, I just like start scratching it, and some parts of it fell off, and it's finally healed. Now it's fully healed, but like there's definitely a scar there. On
Battle
but
wound.
my battle scar, but my
It
ankle
was
bump
a
injury
rhinoceros attack.
to this day is not
Yeah.
healed yet. There's still a scab there, and as of this moment, I can't sit a certain way because it will like pain me. I haven't not checked it to the doctor yet. I've not like went to the doctor or like have it like x-rayed or something if anything's broken. But I can't sit a certain way, and if I like touch the area around that, it would like be painful. But I can still walk and
Okay.
wear my shoes. So I'm not sure if I should check it out because to be honest, medical stuff here are super expensive. So I like most of the time, if you're living here in Indonesia and you're like a mediocre kind of family, or like not like super rich or anything, you will like
Yeah.
most of the time not go check to the doctor because you know it's going to be expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, things are really expensive here too, but we can talk about that in a different episode.
Yep, definitely can do that.
Uh,
That story was too
okay.
long for me. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'll try to keep mine brief. I had a different story, but then I decided I think I do have a story that would match yours quite a bit. Less injury, but it is still traumatic incident kind of thing.
Oh gosh,
Uh,
please tell me. That sounds like not
but the
fun.
other one is shorter. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's for next episode then. Never mind.
yes, I'll save that one for next episode. Okay, so one day, me and the fam, were going to float down the Boise River on our raft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Um, and I was like, oh, we should probably like scout ahead, or something. Um, because we haven't really done that, so we don't really know the river very well. So makes sense to
Oh,
know the river.
oh no.
But whatever. But yeah, we pushed off. It was my mom and then me and my siblings, except my older sister. She's in Iowa. But we pushed off. We also had 2 kayaks.
Oh,
So
were you on the kayak?
no, I was in the raft. I'm way
Coward.
too muscly to fit in a kayak.
Oh yeah, is that
No, I'm
so?
just
I
kidding.
see how it is.
Yeah, but we were going, and then we weren't even floating for like 10 minutes before there was a little fork in the road.
Oh no.
And or fork in the road, the river.
Oh dear.
But we ultimately ended up going right. Whether by us choosing it or the current taking us that way, I'm not actually entirely sure. But we ended up going right. The left way did look really shallow though, so makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And then right as we round the corner, there's a massive tree that just has the branches going all the way across the river into the water. So it was like this giant mesh of branches and stuff.
Whoa. Okay. That's
And
dangerous.
so obviously one can't really get a boat through a wall of branches. So
Nope. No, you
the current
can't.
was too strong. We tried to fight back. We're like, no, paddle backwards. My mom was like freaking out, of course, because she's like that. She's like, you know.
I can't.
And then I was
I don't think
stoic and
Discord.
silent.
registered your voice there when you were impersonating your mom.
Okay, wait. Let me try again. She was like, "How was that?"
There we go.
Okay, I did that directly into the mic. So, um, and then I was silently stoic. I'm like,
Oh,
I know what is about to happen.
I'm
Oh,
strong.
I'm so manly. But no, I was actually just like completely like calm and chill. I mean, I wasn't calm, but I was acting calm.
You were
But on the
acting
inside, I
calm. Okay,
knew. I was like, uh oh.
it's so different here. Okay, you were
Yeah, I'm
acting calm.
like on the outside, I was calm, but on the inside, I'm like, I know what's about to happen. Oh no, oh no.
Oh
Like my
dear.
mind was just racing through all the possibilities. It's like that meme with like the lady like thinking, and there's just like numbers everywhere, like flying around. That was me. Um, and then we hit the branches, and we kind of stopped for a little bit, just hit the branches, and then the boat started tipping as the current pushed the side that wasn't against the branches down.
Oh
Um,
no.
and then it flipped the boat over. And
Well.
we all went underneath the tree and out to the other side, and the boat did, and all of our stuff too. Um, I did manage to grab my mom's water bottle because it was floating.
That's
So
nice.
I was like, it was right there, so I was like, what, I'll just grab it. Um,
Not litter the
and
river.
then yeah, and then we're like, oh no, no, oh, or my mom was like, still yelling, and I was just like, okay, I'm a master at this. I can't swim, by the way. I should just make
Oh.
that clear. I'm very bad at swimming. Uh,
Yes, you can swim. I can swim, so that's nice. Yeah, let's
nice.
go.
Um, but I was wearing my life jacket, so
Oh, by the way,
that's
by
why
swim I
I'm
mean like
not dead.
flapping my arms. Yeah, that's swimming, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't even doggy paddle to keep myself afloat. The only thing I can do is like lay on my back and like drift across the surface of the pool.
Oh my gosh,
But I haven't
that's
done that in
you.
forever, so I don't even know
Okay.
if I can still do that. But
Yeah, I can do like the back and the doggy paddle one.
yeah. But anyways, that's beside the point. So we managed to get to the bank, and we got everyone. We're like, oh my goodness, we're all here. Um, and we got the raft and all the kayaks. The only thing we ended up losing was my brother's glasses, um, which is unfortunate, because glasses aren't the cheapest thing. They're not super expensive, so
They
um,
are very expensive here. My gosh, losing them would be nightmare, a fortune.
yeah. I'm pretty sure we have like some sort of deal that we get them like some discount on second pair or something. Some
I
sort of
see.
like insurance thing.
Okay, okay.
But anyways, um, and so that was part one. So part two, we realized we were on an island in the middle of the river.
Oh, now you gotta
Yeah,
survive. You gotta be
yeah.
on top of the food chain.
And so here I was. I'm like, okay, my Boy Scouts training has prepared me for this moment. Okay, gather firewood. We need to make sure it's dry. Someone gather flint. I have the car keys. Hopefully they're steel, so we can make a fire. Those branches. Here's some saplings. We can make rope. We'll make a little.
Oh
No,
my
I'm just kidding. That
gosh.
that.
Minecraft skills in
uh,
put into work. Let's go.
in real life, no.
Punch the tree.
But I don't know when it happened. I was watching my siblings for a bit to make sure they weren't like having panic attack or something. They were all shooken up, but they were fine. Um, I'm pretty sure they were in like mild shock, maybe, but I mean, they they didn't die. They were fine. And
You're
at this point,
fine.
the trip had gone, in my view, from a boring rafting trip to an adventurous river rescue. And I was like, the adrenaline was just coursing through me, and I
Oh
felt
my.
good. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is great. This is
Oh
terrible,
dear.
but I feel great. Um,
Okay.
and
Oh, that's kind
then,
of funny. Oh dear.
fortunately, right on the opposite side of the river, there was a RV um, camp, town, trailer park, a
Oh.
trailer park. That's what.
Okay.
Um, so essentially, a suburbs made out of entirely mobile homes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I see.
so
I see.
there's this guy. He's like, hey, we'll help you out, and he had this grappling hook.
Oh my god. Yeah,
And
let's go.
he tied it to a length of rope and he like threw it over, and we spent like half an hour to 45 minutes trying to figure out how to get the rope completely across the river.
Oh no.
Because we would try to throw it and it wouldn't go all the way across, and then we were just like brainstorming. Eventually, we managed to get the grappling hook on our side, um, and when I wrapped it around a tree and like locked it in place using the hooks, on the rope.
Oh my gosh, this sounds
And
like
then on the
something from like a
opposite side,
movie or adventure. This is so
honestly,
fun.
honestly, it felt it
Sounds so
felt like
cool.
some sort of Jungle Cruise movie. Dwayne
Yeah,
Johnson should have been there. That's how it was.
definitely. And you're the Dwayne
Oh
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Except
I'm Dwayne.
you're not bald yet.
How do you know that, huh? But
Oh.
anyways, the other guy tied his end to the tree, um, and they were figuring out, oh, we should walk across. We hold it and like do arm over arm, like floating in the river kind of thing. And I'm like,
Oh my
here, guys,
gosh.
I'm a genius, big brain, big brain. Why don't we take the raft, and use the raft as like a ferry across, like they do in like pioneer times with like rafting
Ah,
across carts.
yeah. Okay, I
Um,
see what you're going for here.
So we
Okay.
would use the rope as a guide,
Uh
and then
huh.
the raft as to get across the river.
That's nice. That's
And
very
so what we
smart.
did, is we actually ended up, because the raft has like this rope going around it. So if you do fall off, you have something to hold on to. So that's how we stayed with the raft. We held onto the rope.
I
But what we
see.
did was we looped the rope with the grappling hook through that so that it wouldn't just float away.
Okay, that's
Um,
good.
Probably
That's
not good
nice.
for either ropes to have that much friction, but
It's
uh,
fine. The
the ropes are
survival is
less
the most
important
important
than
part.
yeah. And so I took them across one at a time. I was the ferry man. Um, so I was taking the arms and like pulling the boat across, fighting against the friction and the drag from
Showing
the
off your
rope and the
muscles, like,
river pulling us down,
oh,
and just dragging the
yeah,
weight of me, my
oh
sibling, and the
yeah.
whole boat across the river, and then back and forth until I got everyone across. Um,
This is like the riddle. Like a guy can ferry two persons at a time, and there's like two cows, two cats, like two not two cows, two lions, and two grass bundles. That kind of
yeah,
riddle. It sounds like that.
yeah, yeah. But no, we eventually got everyone across. Uh, we almost lost one of the oars, but I did manage to get it. It was underneath another tree, so I had to like crawl through like spider webby branches to grab it. But I mean, I didn't want to have to like help my mom shop for another oar because she would spend like 2 hours researching oars and then go like, "Oh, I have these two. They're the same price and they look the same, but I don't know which
Oh
one
my
to get." I'm like, "Ah."
god. I can so
So I
much relate
decided to
to
save
that. My
myself that
god.
pain. Yeah. Um,
But because you're also a
and
strong man with big muscles.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bank of the river right there, like the edge was not like natural like dirt or gravel or anything. It was a very like
Oh,
foresty river, so like tons of rocks and branches and trees just like all along the coast or
I
the
see.
bank. And right there was just tons of blocks of concrete making up that portion of the bank. Um, so yeah, my foot went down like underneath, like underground. There's like a little hole just big enough for my foot to slip
Oh,
down all the way up to like my knee.
how lucky were
So that
you?
was fun to get out, and I tried not to think about what was living in that little dark hole in the river, like
Oh
snakes
no.
or
Oh
some
no.
river
Oh
bugs, maybe water
dear.
cockroaches.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
but yeah, and then he let me keep the grappling hook. So that's awesome.
Whoa. Whoa. You gotta send me a
Yeah,
picture of that, man. That sounds so cool.
I will. I'll send it tomorrow if I can think about it because it's in my brother's room and he's asleep. So,
Yeah,
but
definitely. Yeah.
that is my river adventure story
That was
to
like half the time
match yours.
it took you
Yeah,
to for me to tell my story. So that's cool.
yeah, yeah.
That was fun.
It was
Anyways. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
It
Go on ahead.
honestly, it was like the overall experience. It was traumatizing, but it was way better than if it was just a normal rafting trip. It was like a surprise escape room, but you could actually get injured and die, you know?
Oh my gosh. Welcome to
And
our
it was
raft.
free.
Welcome to our rafting experience. Also, disclaimer, you
Yeah.
might die.
You might die.
Anyways,
Uh,
let's just
but yeah,
jump right
half
into
an
it.
hour in, and we
Yep.
are finally into the episode.
Going to talk about Indonesia's Ye Old Kingdoms. This is an episode where I'm going to tell Squidney
Kingdoms.
how fun Indonesia's kingdoms are to learn, and
Yes.
how I'm totally not suffering learning about it when I was in elementary. Anyways, this lesson or this topic of the lesson is the one I despise as an elementary and as a middle schooler, because we would keep learning the same kingdoms over and over and over and over again, but with added a little bit of detail here, a little over there.
It was one of those.
Yep. And
I
the
see.
exams.
I get you.
The exams of these topics, oh my gosh, they're a nightmare. You can ask any Indonesians. They would all say this topic is nope.
You just say kingdoms, their face just like they're smiling, and then their face just goes like straight dark and cold, and they're like, "What did you just say?" And you're like, "I didn't mean it." And they're like, "Tell me." They grab you by the throat, pin you against the wall. They're like, "What did you say?"
Oh man, it might be true. I'm not saying it's true, but it might be true. Anyways, here's the prologue. I've made a Google Docs for this. It's probably it's a very oversimplification and mostly summarizing what the history is. I've taken a lot of sources here that I will probably not mention because I don't want to be responsible. But but there's you can look it up. It's very interesting to learn about because I mean, after growing up at least and over the school years, you actually when we were discussing of like topics to talk about and this came up, I was pretty enjoying myself making this like sort of summary to the kingdoms, and I was like, hey, this is like me back in 5th grade doing my homework. I can't believe I'm doing it on my own of my own will. This is insane, you know?
Throwback. Yeah.
So this does brings back some of my memories. So here's the prologue to Indonesia's Ye Old Kingdoms. There are 3 eras to the Indonesia's kingdoms. I would advise you, Sid, not to read through the Google Docs, as it's not going to be fun if you know what's going to happen. So there are 3 eras to the Indonesia's kingdoms. The Hinduism era, the Buddhism era, and the Islamic era. So it's like sort of in order, but not really. Some of them happens at the same time or like in the same period because of immigrants and traders who came from other countries back in the day, like 500 AD or like 400 AD. So it was a long, long time ago. And these people who brought their religions with them actually made Indonesia to have these kingdom or royal system, because previously we don't have that actually. For Hinduism at least, these are because of many residents from India who are immigrants that came to Indonesia or who traded with Indonesians. They bring their Hinduism religion with them, and we as Indonesian, we were not familiar with the royal system. It was the old government system was like there's a village or what we call here desa, and it was the administration or like the government is led by a tribal chief, or here we call kepala suku or like kepala desa. Like these position of power are not handed down through generation to generation, but it's more of like the people choosing who they think are capable of leading them, you know. But then the Indians and some other countries that brought Hinduism with them brought the kingdom or like the royal system to them, and they brought as well their culture of temple buildings, where we call here candi, and then some sculptures, arts, their art styles, their language, the culture of reading, which was written in Palawa language or like Palawa letters, and Sanskrit or Sanskerta, if we call in Indonesia. And Sanskerta is actually very important because it is used now, right now, like in Indonesia, as our motto. One of like our motto, or like our country motto, is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, and it is taken directly from Sanskrit language.
Oh.
And it means Bhinneka Tunggal Ika means berbeda-beda tapi tetap satu. And if we translate that into English, it means even though we're all different, we're all one country. Because we're very diverse in culture and stuff. So that's cool. And then since more and more people were coming to Indonesia, some of the foreign people started getting married to Indonesians, and finally the influence of religion and the culture is getting stronger, and there were finally kingdoms. So Hinduism era, this starts in around 400 AD plus.
So it begins.
Yep. And there are a few there's a lot more kingdoms that I'm going to mention that exist at the time that's not going to be mentioned here, because I'm just going to mention the popular kingdoms. Okay, there are a lot of smaller kingdoms at the time that were I believe met like some colonization and were like pit against each other with divide and conquer, that kind of stuff. Like for example, the Dutch would land and pay the small kingdom to attack, pay a couple small kingdoms to attack the bigger kingdoms, or something like that, and make like riots and stuff. But we won't be discussing any of that in today's discussion.
Sounds good.
So, the first kingdom, or the oldest Hinduism kingdom found in Indonesia, was the Kutai kingdom.
Okay.
Kutai was founded around 400 AD, and the name of the kingdom itself was actually not like named by a scientist or anything. It was actually found on one of the old stone tablets, or like in one of the relics from the kingdom's golden age. So that's cool. Like they actually came up with an original name, like not from the scientist or anything. And it was located in the banks of the Mahakam River in Kalimantan, or in Borneo, on the east side. So the first king, his name is Kudunga. But the famous king is named Mulawarman, and he is actually the grandson of Kudunga and the son of Aswawarman, the second king.
Okay.
And sadly, the Mulawarman, I believe, is the last king. So there's only like 3 generations of kingdom, I think, if I'm not wrong here. And Mulawarman, on his golden age, worshipped the Lord Shiva, which is one of the deities in Hinduism belief. And at one time he presented, or like gifted, 20,000 cows, which at the time is like a symbol of wealthiness, to the Brahmins or Brahmana, which is the, what's it called? Like so like in Hinduism, right? There's four different levels of humanity. There's Brahmana. There's like knights, I believe, or like Satriya.
Yeah.
And then there's like the locals, and then there's Sudra. Sudra, I believe, is the lowest one, which is like the poor people. And then the second one is like the normal people. The third one, the second highest is the rich people, and Brahmins or Brahmana is the people who are super religious. And he gifted 20,000 cows in a ceremony. So to commemorate the ceremony,
a lot of cows.
That's a lot of cows. I mean, no, there's a lot more today, but at the time it's probably super big amount. He to commemorate the ceremony, there was a yupa that was established. A yupa is a written news or tale about the kingdom of Kutai, and it was one of the relics or like stone tablets left behind by the kingdom. So that's why we know the story of Mulawarman.
Oh, okay.
That's
Gotta
very
love
interesting.
Records.
Yep. So I believe the Kutai Empire lasted quite some time, because it was soon after lost and conquered by the Islamic Empire far in the future, not from the 400 AD era. So yeah. So it was later on converted into a new name of Kutai Kartanagara Empire, or like Islamic Empire. But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the eras differently, or like parts by parts, because I don't think I can discuss all of the kingdoms all here in one episode. So
yeah, there's a lot of kingdoms. Lots
There
to
is a
talk
lot.
about.
And the second one here, the second famous one is Tarumanagara. This kingdom name is now one of the names of our private universities in here in Jakarta. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I remember learning this
The
kingdom's name,
lore.
the lore. This kingdom name back in 5th grade, and passing the building of the University of Tarumanagara. I was like, whoa, that's the kingdom I learned about. It's still alive? What? I mean, yeah, not, but yeah. Okay, this is the other oldest Hindu kingdom, but this is the oldest Hindu kingdom in Java Island. So the main land of Java, which is the place where big cities are, and I think over 50% of our population are in Java, even though Java is the smallest island in Indonesia. So that's cool.
Oh.
This kingdom was established
popular
approximately. I'm sorry, what?
It's the popular one.
Yeah, it is very popular for some reason. It's the smallest, but like it's very dense. Yeah, this kingdom was established approximately around the same time as the Kutai kingdom, but a bit later because this kingdom was one of the biggest kingdoms of the Hinduism era. They conquered a lot of area. Yeah, this kingdom was big, like one of the big boys. And it was located in Bogor, actually, in West Java. Bogor is quite close to where, I mean, considering how big my country is, it's pretty close, and I can, probably like 3-hour drive to Bogor or something, so it's not too far.
Okay.
And
Not
the
bad.
famous king's name is Purnawarman, and he embraced Hinduism, but this guy worshipped the Lord Vishnu, not Shiva anymore. And during his era, the Tarumanagara kingdom was able to make waterways taken from the Citarum River, which is one of the rivers that runs through Java, and use it to supply the farmland, hold back floods, and this mad lad rerouted a lot of rivers. This guy is insane.
As one does.
This river's flowing through here. It's causing flood. Well, that's not good. Let's reroute this river. Yeah, you heard me right.
It's not flowing there anymore.
This guy's insane. There's a lot of inscriptions from the Tarumanagara kingdom. One of the famous ones is actually called the Ciaruteun inscription. And inscription here is called Prasasti in Indonesian. And it is made of the andesite stone measuring 8 by 8 meters area. Printed on, and on it was printed the sole foot of Purnawarman. So he's got his foot in there. His footprint is printed too. There's a lot more inscription that came from Tarumanagara kingdom, but the Ciaruteun is the most famous one. The other the other inscriptions also has his footprints. Like it's like his signature almost. And it contains this message for the Ciaruteun one. Vikranta Shavani Pate. I'm probably gonna butcher this pronunciation, by the way. Srimata Purnavarmana Tarumanagara Rendrasha Visnoriva Padavivayam in Purbacharakal that's already not the language anymore. Whoops. In Purbacharaka language. That's the language. I don't know what that all means. It looks gibberish to me, but
I don't know what it means either.
But apparently, the scientists and the archaeologists said that this means in Indonesian. I'm going to do Indonesian first, and then I'm going to do the translation. Ini bekas 2 kaki yang seperti kaki Dewa Wisnu. Ialah kaki yang mulia Sang Purnawarman, seraja di negeri Taruma, raja yang gagah berani di dunia. So that's the translation is, these forms of 2 feet, which are like the feet of the god Vishnu, are the feet of His Majesty the Purnawarman, king of the land of Taruma, king who is brave in the world.
I definitely got all of that when you read it the first time. Untranslated.
I know. Yep, you're definitely an expert. You will learn some Indonesian in a future episode, my guy.
Yes.
You should be prepared for that.
I shall.
The third kingdom is called Kediri, and this is located in Kalibrantas, East Java. The kingdom of Kediri triumphed under the reign of the King Kameswara, who had the title. Okay, so here's something funny about these kingdoms that we learn about. These kings, I mean, I know they're kings, they can do whatever they want, but they always give themselves these ridiculous titles, okay?
Most
I mean, like,
handsome
I
of
understand. If I were living in that era, I probably would give myself like the mythical magician, the super magic guy with a handsome face and
I mean, like, what
or
else are you
something
going
like
to
that.
do without the internet other than give yourself titles? Like, I am the supreme lord of small shrubs and berries.
I know, but here's the thing: when you're like calling addressing your Majesty the King, you would have to mention every single title he mentions he has. You know, like you can't just like, oh my king or something. You have to like, if you want to call him by his name, you need to like say every single title he has and that he gave himself. Like those titles are not earned from like his heroism or something. It's like he just made these kind of stuff up. But I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's funny now, but back in the day, for us to having to memorize his name or like his title, it was so annoying, such a drag. King Kameswara. Yeah, such a drag, man. King Kameswara had the title Sri Maharaja Sidikan Kameswara. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And I forgot what Sri mean, but Maharaja means like the King of Kings sort of thing.
Okay.
It's like he's like calling himself the King of Kings.
The great
and he died.
He died.
Totally not boastful or anything. You know, he's a
very
good
humble
guy.
man.
He's a humble,
I would say.
Very humble man.
Yes.
He died though. That's sad. He died in 1130, and his successor was Jayabaya, and he is the greatest king of Kediri. So even though Kameswara called himself the King of Kings, the Maharaja himself, but he was not the greatest king to be remembered. That's such a shame. That's a sort of he shot himself in the foot there. His successor, Jayabaya, is the one that was called the greatest king of the kingdom of Kediri. He is so famous because of his predictions called the Jayabaya term. He would make these like sort of predictions, and they would like become true, and people like would believe him even more and stuff. That's why he was the famous one. And
seeing the
sadly,
future.
Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he would give himself the title of the seer or something. Oh, wait a second. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Oh man. Yeah, and there's a lot more kings, but then the last king of Kediri was Kertajaya, who died in 1222. But he was just not defeated by some old man or like jumped by bandits or anything. This guy was defeated by Ken Arok. You will hear his name again later, but he was defeated by Ken Arok in Gunter village Malang. Malang is also one of major cities in Java. And the relics of Kingdom Kediri include the Panumbangan inscription or Prasasti Panumbangan, the Palah inscription, the Smaradana book by Empu Dharmaja, the Hariwangsa book by Empu Panulu, and the Krinayana book by Empu Triguna, and the Panataran temple. I've never seen any of these inscriptions or books or been to the temple, but there will be some temples in the later kingdoms that I will talk about that I have been to. So it's gonna be real fun.
Okay, I definitely am gonna remember every single one of those names.
Yeah, you're basically getting a sort of a speed run of my full grade 1 till grade 6 history class. So that's fun.
Yeah, every single time a name comes up, my brain just goes like, what's happening? And then you start speaking English again. And I'm like, oh, now I understand.
Oh man, it's so funny. Yeah, I'm going to have an exam after this, Sid. You better be prepared.
Oh no.
The next kingdom is called Tumapel, but that name is not famous. The famous one is called Singasari because there's Singa in it, and Singa is lion, so that's cool. The Singasari kingdom was located in Singasari. Who would have thought? Am I right? Who would have thought it was located in the name of the kingdom? My gosh.
Kind of.
It was also
subtle.
It's also in East Java. and the extent covers the area of Malang now. So it's pretty big. One of the big ones as well. The Singasari Kingdom was founded by Ken Arok. You see, this guy who defeated the the Kediri Kingdom, and it was built on 1222 from the day he destroyed the year he destroyed the Kediri Kingdom until 1227. So he only reigned for 5 years, but I think he enjoyed those 5 years of his life. His successors,
probably
his successors were Anusapati, 1227 until 1248, and then Panji Tohjaya on 1248 till unknown, and then Ranggawuni from 12. Oh, actually, never mind. Panji Tohjaya only reigned for 1 year. That's just bad, man. What were you doing? The next one was
really
Ranggawuni. Yeah, it probably is a bad leader or something. It's not, I don't think it's even a year. Like, yeah. So Ranggawuni reigned from 1248 to 1268. So that's 20 years. That's pretty good. And
not bad at all.
The last, not bad at all. I agree. The last king is Anusapati. Kertanegara. Kertanegara is reigning from 1268 to 1292. Whoa, okay, that's nice.
Dang.
And yeah, the legacies of Singasari's greatness include Jago Temple. Jago means like great, or like what's it called? Like a hero? Not exactly a hero. Jago is like you're very good at something. Okay. So that's weird to see it as the name of the temple. As the tomb of Wisnu Wardana. Yep, no. Jago Temple. Oh, it's the tomb of the son of Anusapati. Okay. And right. Anusapati himself is actually the father of Kertanegara, which is the last king. Singasari Temple and Jawi Temple as the tomb of Kertanegara, the last king. And he also gave himself Sri Maharaja Kertanegara as his title. Like, yeah, I'm now I'm the king of kings. That's right. That's me.
That last guy, ignore him.
That last guy, he's a fraud. Me, not
I.
And there's a Kidal temple. Kidal itself means left-handed, so I'm not sure why it's called that. But anyway, it is the tomb of Anusapati. Anusapati is the successor of Ken Arok, the second king of Singasari. And lastly, the Prajna Paramita statue as the embodiment of Kendedes. Now, Kendedes, probably name's familiar because she was Ken Arok's empress. And empress is not the queen. See, it's like this side chick, one might say. Ken Arok's side chick.
Nice.
And Ken Arok built a statue for her, apparently. Not for the queen, no, for the side chick.
For the sidekick. We love sidekicks.
Oh dear. Wait, sidekicks? No. Yeah, sidekicks. Yeah, we'll take that. Sure. Anyway, that's besides the point. The next one is Kingdom of Ancient Mataram. I think it was more of a Kingdom of Mataram, but I'm going to call it Ancient Mataram because the Indonesian is Mataram Kuno, and Kuno means ancient, so I'm just going to call it that.
All right.
According to the location of the kingdom, or like the history, it is split into two periods of government. First of all, it was in the 8th century. It was located in central Java. But then the second period was around 9th and 10th century in East Java. But the Central Java period was marked by the existence of two dynasties. So there's two dynasties in control, the Sanjaya dynasty and the Shailendra dynasty. What's the difference between these two? Sanjaya dynasty was still in the Hindu era, but the Shailendra is the Buddhism era. You see? So when Mataram existed, there's the Buddhism already entered Indonesia. So they were happening at the same time, these two eras. So yeah. That's why the Mataram kingdom is split into two government. One's the Sanjaya and one's the Shailendra. And one of the religious heritage of Sanjaya dynasty is the Prambanan Temple. And I have been to this temple. It looks very cool. I'll send you what you need to type in Google to find it. You can look it up. It's very cool. It's like these tall buildings, tall temple buildings. There's a lot of them, all in one place. Like inside, I've been inside some of them. Like when I went there, unfortunately, some parts of the temple was like in restoration or like in repairment. Just to maintain and keep it alive, I guess. And
yeah,
it was very cool to come there. It's like, whoa, these stuff are huge. How could they build this?
I've seen pictures of
like,
that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you've seen these?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I thought I knew what you were talking about, and I was right. Yeah, the fancy.
Yeah,
cool
because
Indonesia.
Prambanan is one of the famous ones. Yeah, Prambanan is one of the famous ones. I've been there once, but it was like on a road trip, so we drove from Jakarta all the way to Jogja, I believe. Or did we ride a plane? I can't remember. Anyway, that's beside the point. Prambanan, they have like all these statues, or like sort of like what's it called? Like carvings in the walls and in the like streets, on the roof.
Yeah.
Very delicate carvings of depicting like the war, or like the civilians, or like the life of the locals. It was kind of cool to look at, and I took a lot of pictures there. The temple was big, and it was big. I mean, I only went to like half of it because the other half was like in restoration or like maintenance, but it was huge.
Dang.
But there's another one from Mataram, Shailendra dynasty, which is the Buddhism one, the Buddhism era. They left the Borobudur temple, and now this one's interesting because the Borobudur temple was actually not found until the British came to Indonesia to colonize us.
Okay.
One of the British like leaders, like he was really into Indonesia's culture and history, so he just like dug up a bunch of hills and just to look for stuff, I believe. And it was like pure luck, I think. He dug a big hill in around Jogja and found a big Borobudur temple. I'm going to send you I'm sure you've seen this as well, but this temple is huge. You guys can check it out. It's Borobudur temple, or like Chandi. Chandi is Candi. And man, this thing it's like a pyramid, but with a lot of like these smaller domes. It's actually really cool to look to visit. Like it's very, very, very,
cool.
Very big.
And it does look very big.
You know, and when you look at the scale of it, by the way, Sid, it was previously a hill. So no one knew it was there. It was a hill.
Dang.
And this British guy came colonizing our country, and he was like, "Oh, what's this rock sticking out of the ground? Oh, it's a big temple? What?"
Aww. It's crazy.
And yeah. Very good, very, very cool indeed.
But no, that is really cool.
Anyways, I know, it looks so cool, doesn't it? Oh dear. The kings of Mataram. There are a couple kings of from the Mataram's ruling age, and their names are kind of funny. I can't stop myself from laughing.
Okay.
The one of the first or like the founder of the first dynasty before it was taken over, which was the Isyana dynasty, and his name is Empu Sendok or Empu Sindok. And it's funny because sendok is spoon in English. So
that's funny.
when I translated the document, so like I can tell it in English better. So blame Google Docs if there's any misspelled or like mistranslation.
Yeah, obviously.
When it translated it was like Empu spoon. It was like bro moment. Oh man, he's like
that's hilarious.
Because like it's funny because Empu is like a title for like someone who's great, and it's like Empu spoon. It's like the great spoon.
The great bro
Oh
moment.
dear, so funny. Oh Oh dear. He reigned from 928 AD to 947 AD. So that's a pretty lengthy one. Not as long, but hey, it's pretty good. And he gave himself the title of Empu Sendok Sri Isyana Tunggala Tunggadewa Wijaya. Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah. That means Empu Sendok, which is his name. And then Sri Isyana, Sri Isyana. Sri is like I forgot. But Isyana is the name of the dynasty. And Tunggadewa, I think, means like he's calling himself a god or like a deity.
As one does.
So that's cool. And and Wijaya, I think, means sort of like a glory days or something like that. So it's cool. I mean, the names have a good meaning, but sometimes they're over exaggerated for what they actually are. And he made an inscription of Dharma Wangsa, but he was also making, I believe this one, a Calcutta inscription. Oh, sorry. Wait. The news about the administration of Empu Sendok did not progress through the Calcutta inscription until the name Dharma Wangsa appeared. Because Dharma Wangsa is the next king. Yeah. He made an attack. He was famous for making an attack on Sriwijaya. Because Sriwijaya is one of the biggest, and I mean one of the biggest kingdoms to ever exist in our country. Sriwijaya was I'll discuss later on, but Sriwijaya is the one of the biggest kingdoms in the Buddhism era, and he tried to attack it but failed because, of course, I mean, technically he succeeded because he's trying to seize the sea trade, like sea trade route or something, because Sriwijaya was like conquering the part around Malaysia and Singapore as well. So that route from like below Indonesia to like China or anything, it's like they have to go through there, right? To the small part of the ocean there, and it was like under Srivijaya's control. So Dharma Wangsa, the king of Mataram, was like, I want that land as well, and I want that route especially. So he attacked. And he actually won. Succeeded in controlling Sriwijaya in 992. But then Sriwijaya launched a counterattack, which resulted in destruction of the kingdom and his palace. And Dharma Wangsa himself was killed. So that was a bad move there, my guy.
Kind of unlucky.
But Dharma Wangsa's son-in-law, he's a little snake, this man. Maybe not snake, that's a bad name to call him. He saved himself, and the kingdom was eventually broken apart into several independent regions and like smaller kingdoms. And this incident of Dharma Wangsa who died happened in 1016, and that's the year he died. Yeah, so just 1 year after he ruled, after he reigned as king, he attacked Sriwijaya, which is one of the biggest Buddhism kingdoms at the time. And then around almost 20, like maybe 10, like 10, 13 years later, Sriwijaya launched a counterattack, and he was like, oh no, guess I'll die. Yeah. The next one is the next king in starting 1019 to 1042. Oh man, that's a pretty long reign, or like time as king. He was crowned king. His name is Erlangga. Erlangga, the name itself, is now the name of one of our public universities, so that's cool. He crowned the king after going to meditate in the forest for 3 years. That's right. So maybe, Sid, if you find a forest, go meditate for 3 years. You'll become a king. Literally.
Sounds good. King of America.
Let's go.
That's going to go well.
But the kings, he was like rejected almost by the kings of the smaller kingdoms around him, and he did not want to recognize him as the king of the bigger Mataram kingdom. But then he was like, oh no, I'm going to conquer you all. So he conquered all those smaller kingdoms and succeeded in reuniting and the divided kingdoms in 1037. So that's cool. And later on, the royal capital was moved to some
Well, that's
place.
how it's done, I guess.
Yeah. And after the kingdom was intact again, policies were directed at improving the economy. And as an agricultural kingdom,
Ah.
they improved the irrigation, the rice field stuff, and finally developed trade with some other kings here. I can't bother to mention. And then to replace him as king, Erlangga has prepared his daughter, named Sanggarwijaya. However, his daughter had no interest in becoming a king and chose to become a hermit. And she's now in hermitcraft. No, that's just kidding, by the way. In order to prevent a power struggle between the two sons of Erlangga, and his concubines, see, not even the queen again. These guys, my gosh. They're like, well, in the old ages, might as well have like 1,000 wives, but that are not really our wives or something. My gosh.
Yeah.
The kingdom was divided in two, Jenggala and Kediri. So this Mataram kingdom actually predates Kediri, because Kediri is finally built after the fall of Mataram. Yeah. Okay. And then lastly, before I close it for today's episode, there's a little bit of a. We'll continue with the Buddhism era for part 2 of Indonesia's Ye Old Kingdoms. But I'm going to give a small explanation of the candi or the temples, because these are usually temples and usually contain the statues of the 3 main gods in Hinduism, which was Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And Brahma is the creator god, Vishnu is the preserver god, and preserver as in like giving a wealth and stuff like that. And Shiva is the destroyer god and was often related with death and suffering. On the walls of the temple, there are there are reliefs and carvings, namely embossed images that are usually made by carving. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. These sort of carvings tell a story, and the famous Hindu heritage temple, which was Prambanan that I mentioned before, or the Loro Jonggorong temple was one of the famous ones as well. Prambanan itself was built in the 9th century, and inside this temple there's a statue of Trimurti and carvings that tell the story of Ramayana. Ramayana is one of the like old legends, and there are 3 characters in it called Rama, Shinta, and Jatayubird. And I want to tell you just a little bit, just a quick summary of the story, because the actual story is like super long. So I found a summary of it. Ramayana is a story that tells about a person as Sang Rama who ruled in the kingdom of Kosala, north of the Ganges River, the capital of Ayodhya. Yeah, I think maybe.
Sounds about right.
Previously, it started with the story of King Dasaratha, who had 3 consorts, namely Kausalya, Kakaya, and Sumitra, from the goddess Kausalya. And Sangrama was born, and he takes part in a competition, or what we call here Sayembara. It's like the challenges that the king set. So like if you want to marry like the king's daughter or something, you have to like complete these set of challenges, which what you call Sayembara. And Sangrama takes part in this competition to marry Sita. And at the end of the story, sadly, this is a sad ending. Rama and Sita do not live together. Sita then plunged into the lake of fire created by Lakshmana to prove her purity. So that's a bad ending.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, very, 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 very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it about Kingdoms. We'll continue next time. I'm sure Squidney is very excited. Am I right?
Very thrilling.
I know.
I remember every single one of those names.
Oh yeah, now mention every single names. Come on. I know you can do it.
Okay, there's the one guy whose name was repeated multiple times, and then there was the one person who died. Then there was the King of Kings, and that's most of them, I think.
I see. Yeah, you got a perfect 100 from me, man. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
listening. And also thank you to you listeners for dropping by to listen to Crossing Borders. This has been Josh
Of
and
course.
Sid. Don't forget to grab your passports on your way out, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But also, next episode is a special episode, so look out for that because we have something special prepared for you, everyone. So yeah, drop a follow or subscribe if you haven't already. And again, we hope to see you next time.